Hello everyone, it's Jamarl Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. Hope things are doing okay today. Let's see. Let me check my sound. Always check your sound. Yeah, I hope you guys are having a decent show today. The first show went well. It went far longer than I thought. I'm going to have to cut that video, but nevertheless, I think the show went well. So this show is probably not going to be as long, but I wanted to hit on this because I love this. And this is one of the reasons why I love Bernie Sanders. We have a problem with welfare in this country. Yeah, you're on the lefty side, and I'm saying we have a problem with welfare. We have a problem with corporate welfare. We have corporate welfare queens, like the corporate welfare queen that you're seeing here. Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon. Why are you saying he's a welfare queen, Jamal? Jeff Bezos is worth an estimated $150 billion, and that number essentially goes up every day. Every week, it's some other ungodly number. $150 billion. Process that number. One human being having a net worth of $150 billion. How do you make $150 billion? Well, Jeff Bezos has hellish conditions at his factories. He uses his people up, squeezes the life out of them until it gets to the point where there's nothing left, and he discards them and brings on another one. Because at the end of the day, Jeff Bezos must make his billions. And if you're not moving fast enough, he's not going to make his billions. Jeff Bezos, at one point, they put buzzers on people to make sure that the people were moving at a fast enough clip. If they weren't, they'll get shocked a little. It's a buzz. Let's call it a buzz. Let's be fair. Another case was an ambulance sitting outside in case somebody passes out or falls out because they can't keep up the pace, running from to and fro in the factories. Hellish working conditions. These stories have been coming out that people have been telling these hellish stories. The stories have gotten so bad that Jeff Bezos, or somebody within the company, has used the resources of the company to essentially hire people to tweet out nice things. It's pathetic, but it's true. Jeff Bezos getting $150 billion, working people into these hellish working conditions so he can make that $150 billion and make more money on top of that. Amazon, as profitable and rich as that company is. I mean, after all, Jeff Bezos has $150 billion. Clearly, the company has to be profitable and wealthy. Paid no tax. Amazon paid no tax. You're hearing that right. Amazon, the company that you get your knickknacks and doodads from, the thing where you can get that dirt cheap price. Nobody ever asks, how can I get that great price on Amazon? How can they get it here in this particular time frame? They get it here because they treat their workers like shit. They pay their workers like shit. And Jeff Bezos, at the end of the day, expropriates that money to the top. That's how my wife gets her little knickknacks and doodads from Amazon. That's how the shit gets from point A to point B. Amazon pays no tax. And on top of Amazon paying no tax, Amazon, Bezos, are welfare queens. Because there are multiple people that work at Amazon that are paid shit and piss. So little, in fact, that a third of the people that work at Amazon, at least in Arizona, are on food stamps. They're on government subsidies. Think about that shit. One man has $150 billion in resources. Think of all that wealth and so much money and you have people that are in his employment that are on the dole, that are receiving government assistance. Now, Republicans are usually angry about people receiving government assistance. What do you feel about this? Look at all the money that he has. Then you can make an argument that the reason he has that money is because he pays those people shit and piss. And then is a good capitalist that realizes that they can take advantage of the populace and get the government to pay for things that the company should be paying for. Meaning, if you work at a company, you should be able to make a living on that company, especially when the owner of that company has $150 billion. Bernie Sanders is introducing legislation to get the plutocrats, the families of Walmart, and people like people like Bezos off the government tit, to get them off the dole, to get them from being welfare queens. We want these companies to be upstanding companies and pay these people a decent wage. And if the United States government incentivizes those companies to pay people shit and piss by being able to provide services for welfare, even when the company has the resources to pay those people an adequate wage and just don't do so, then there should be consequences for that. Those companies should pay their fair share. And part of that is making sure that if somebody is in your employee, if you're going to treat them like shit, work them horrendous hours and horrendous conditions, then you should pay them a decent, livable wage. Bernie Sanders is introducing legislation to force people like Bezos, people like the Waltons, off the government tit. Pay your fair share. Essentially, if a worker is getting government assistance and they're working at a multi-million-dollar company like Amazon or Walmart, the government will tax that company in the degree that that company or that person is getting government assistance. So if Susan is working at Amazon and getting shit and piss from Jeff Bezos in order for Jeff Bezos to get his $150 billion, Jeff Bezos should not be able to make his $150 billion if he's paying people shit and piss. So Amazon will be taxed to the degree that the public assistance was put out. Meaning that if Susan needed to get $300 in food stamps, then Amazon would need to recoup the government with $300 in food stamps. This is not just for Amazon. This is for all these multi-million-dollar corporations that are living off the government tit. Essentially, take advantage of the United States government. That's essentially what they're doing. Let's go through the story real quick. That's a decent summary, I think, and I did it in 6 minutes. Fucking A. This is Common Cause. So, right here. Amazon CEO and world's richest man, Jeff Bezos, makes more money in 10 seconds than his company's median employee makes in an entire year. Think about that. Right? Bam. More money than their median makes in a year. Bam. More money than that person makes in a year. Bam. More money than it makes in a year. Every second. Before I can even snap, Jeff Bezos has made more money than his employees made in a year. Makes in a year. Thousands of Amazon workers are paid such low wages that they are forced to rely on food stamps, Medicaid, and other forms of government assistance to survive. Declaring that this will ever-growing gulf between the obscene wealth and the top executives and the poverty wages of the workers, which is hardly unique to Amazon, is morally unacceptable, Senator Bernie Sanders announced on Friday that he will introduce legislation next month that would impose a 100% tax on large corporations equal to the amount of federal benefits received by their low-wage workers in an effort to pressure corporate giants to pay a living wage. Pay your fair share. Why is the United States government subsidizing Amazon? That's the question you should ask. Why is the United States government subsidizing Amazon? Bezos gets $150 billion and his workers get food stamps. Why do you want your other fellow human beings in this condition? Under the new legislation, if an Amazon worker receives $300 in food stamps, Amazon will be taxed $300. The Vermont Senate office noted in a press release that the tax would apply to all companies with 500 or more employees. While Mr. Bezos is worth $155 billion, and while his wealth has increased $260 million every single day this year, he continues to pay many Amazon employees wages that are so low they are forced to depend on taxpayer-funded programs such as food stamps, Medicaid, and subsidized housing just to get by, Sanders said in a statement on Friday. Well, I forgot. While Bezos is the most egregious example, the Walton family and the Walmarts of many other billionaire-owned large and profitable companies also enrich themselves off taxpayers' assistance while paying their workers a poverty-level wage, Sanders added. That is why I'm introducing legislation in September to demand that Bezos and other billionaires get off welfare and start paying their workers a living wage. Get off the dole. They're welfare queens. According to the public data obtained on nonprofit New Food Economy and The Intercept, as many as 1 in 3 Amazon workers in Arizona, one of the few states that responded to the NFE public records requests, rely on food stamps to survive. Wow, look at that. He's so excited being rich and paying his employees shit and piss. I'm worth all this, and I can't even pay my employees a living wage. Believe it or not, though, it's not that I'm worth all this and I can't pay my employees a living wage. It's more so I am worth all this because I don't pay my employees a living wage. I am worth all of this because I undercut, I gut, I squeeze, my employees, because ultimately they're a means to an end to me, that end being to be as rich as possible. My name is Jeff Bezos. Here's the catch. It makes all the sense in the world that if you are a capitalist and you're trying to maximize your profit, that you're going to pay people shit and piss to maximize your profit if you can get away with people paying people shit and piss. Why wouldn't you? The job and the goal is to maximize your profit, right? Employees are an expense. Products are an expense. If you can get slave labor, you get slave labor. If you can pay the prison inmate 8 cents an hour to make your product, you pay the prison inmate 8 cents an hour to make your product because that's the cheapest that you can get the product made. You don't care about the societal conditions from that stuff. Your job is to maximize your profit. Bezos has $155 billion in the bank. Not because, it's not he has $155 billion in the bank and he's a corporate welfare queen. He's $155 in the bank because he's a corporate welfare queen. There's a difference in those things. I love this. I love this. Pay your fair share. You're a multi-billion-dollar company. Why are you living off of the tit of the government? Time to grow up. Stop cheating. Now, the amazing part to this is, I don't know how much, this is why I love Sanders. This is why I love Sanders. Absolutely love Sanders. Bezos. Can we just call him Bezos from now on? Why is our tax system in our brackets as opposed to a fully differentiated continuous function? No one should have to refuse a wage increase because it puts them at a higher tax bracket. Yeah, you're making a point that it puts people in a weird situation of, essentially, if you get a raise increase, that you're in a different tax bracket, in which case you lose more money than you would have gotten because you're in a different tax bracket. Yeah, I feel you. This is something different, though. Our system incentivizes people to do this. Like say, for instance, if I wanted to hire somebody to do videos. If I wanted to hire somebody to do videos, I have to say, okay, how much can I afford to pay this person? Now, what I can afford to pay this person is going to take money out of my pocket to pay this person. There may be a profit in this at some point, but at the end of the day, in the beginning, I'm putting money out of my pocket to pay this person. Whatever we get back is going to be minus what I paid this person. So I'm stuck in this position where I am incentivized to pay this person as less as I can possibly pay him so I can maximize my profit to the degree that I can maximize my profit. That's just the incentives built into the system if you want to make cash. Now, that's not me being an asshole. That's me functioning under the model itself. I'm saying this is what we have. It's not necessarily that people are horrible people. It's more so they're functioning in a system that propagates a particular behavior. Bezos is just an egregious example of this. It's just an egregious example. Just so we're clear, the thing that you guys saw, the little spot, my channel has been demonetized. I didn't say this at the beginning. The link at the top of the page, there is a link in the description box that if you want to give, you can give via that. That supersedes and goes around this idea of super chat. They've stolen the super chat for July, so I'm not necessarily all that on board for super chat in general at this point. But this money goes directly to me, so it's not a going through Google type thing. All right. Fucking A. Sanders. Fucking A. Sanders. So I'm going to leave this here because I don't want this video to go too long because, like I said, I have several videos that I wanted to do for today, and we have a birthday party-ish. Birthday party type thing this evening. But good on Sanders. Good on Sanders. This is why I like Sanders. I hope more stuff like this keeps coming. I hope he continues to hit and punch and kick. I mean, for all intents and purposes, people don't care about the Russia stuff. So I want him, now that he can see the polls that people don't care about the Russian stuff, to focus on the things that makes him him. You're going to have people who are going to try to ape his position coming up in this next round of elections in 2020. That's assuming that Sanders runs. Distinguish yourself now, my good sir. Attacking Bezos is a good way to do it. My wife loves him. My wife, you would think by the amount that she uses Amazon, thinks this is the sexiest man alive. There's something problematic. And to some degree, even us, we're incentivized. When we buy stuff, we just care that we get it. We don't care the suffering of the employees. Look at him, he's ecstatic. Yes! My employees have a little buzzer on them, so when they're not moving fast enough, I can sting them. That's how much money I'm making. Ah! Ah! And if they pass out, if they have a heart attack because they can't keep up the strain, there'll always be another wage slave willing to take their place. Do you want this guy to pay his fair share, or do you want this guy to remain a corporate welfare queen? That's the question that you're presented with. Is it fair that Jeff Bezos has $150 billion while allowing his employees to be on public assistance in order for him to make that money? The government, us, taxpayers, we are subsidizing Bezos' $150 billion. Not just him, the Walmarts and all sorts of families that are billionaires that are making tons of cash. It needs to stop. He's ecstatic now that he's fucking over his employees. That needs to change. I'm going to end this here. Alright guys, if you enjoy the content, please feel free to share, like, subscribe. You can always support through Patreon. Let's see, no, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the comments, I'm reading the comments. Alright, I'll leave this here. Alright guys.